if I'm the person that makes them laugh, that brings a little bit of joy to their day, more than likely I'm their selection. James, yes, we always record. I did hear Armiza hit the record button, so we should be good to go on that. Have everything sent out. Leave people better than you found them. Exactly. Good morning, Kristen. Just getting the kids bundled up into the car, so your video is going to be off. It's okay. I've got kids. For those of you that don't know, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. So uh, life is hectic some mornings, and then some mornings they decide to be little angels and listen to everything we say and eat their breakfast without having to spoon feed them. It just depends on the day, though. I'm gonna give everybody just another minute or two to file in here. Would love to see your videos on if you're hanging around, and you can. It is very hard to make friends whenever you hide and be known. Whenever you're hiding behind a screen and nobody sees your face. I'm ugly, and I even am showing my face to you guys, so and like I have no hair, so that's why I'm wearing a hat. Otherwise, I would blind you guys. All right. Now, a few of you guys, this will probably be a repeat for. So I'm all about getting a refresher in. And then for those of you that haven't seen me teach this class before, hopefully you're in for a treat. Take notes. Feel free to ask questions. Feel free to engage. If I don't see something, Armiza will probably ding me and say, "Hey, we've got somebody asking questions. Please." There we go. Please reach out. I'm gonna go share. We're gonna get this fixed up. And I'm gonna figure out what I'm doing here. Don't know what that looks like to you guys. I feel like it's not full screen currently. Let's show. Aha! Is that full screen for everybody else now? Fantastic. All right. So, as I told Armiza this morning, I am nowhere near as good at this as Robert or Walter or Laura or anybody else that's good with presentations and slideshows and all of that stuff. I am way better at building connections and selling homes. So, you guys get to hear me talk about what I'm good at, and then in that process, uh, you know, I'll click on these buttons and make sure everything works right. And we're gonna keep our fingers crossed for the best. A little bit about me. I was a licensed physical therapist assistant for 11 years. I really had no prior marketing or sales experience other than, whenever I was in elementary school and would sell anything that wasn't attached to something. So from pencils to gum to candy to whatever Hot Wheels cars, all through school, I always was selling something to make extra money. Would go buy stuff in bulk and literally sell it at school. Got in trouble for it multiple times. It's how it was. And all of my, sales experience, the little bit I did have came from that, some selling, trading stuff on Craigslist and things over the years. Um, Whenever I got started selling real estate, I had actually met my first broker treating her husband as a patient and kind of started getting to know them. I was doing home health my last 5 years, so I got to know them in their house. She was older, reminded me a lot of my grandfather, who was an agent and an appraiser. He flipped some homes, had some rentals, had a little bit of everything, and she reminded me a lot of him. And I was like, "Hey, look, I've got a little bit of time after I get off. Some days I get off at 2 o'clock. Some days I'm off at 4. Some days I'm off by noon. It just depends. It's going to be kind of a catch-all." I said, "Look, I would love to come down by the office. You tell me whatever it is you think I'm supposed to know. I'll come by the office here and there, and I'll get this thing going." I really didn't have any kind of crazy budget. I had a good income already that was accounted for. I was paying my bills, but I didn't have like a budget for ad spend. So I wasn't making cold calls. I literally like wasn't doing any of the normal stuff that everybody says to go do, right? I wasn't fitting into most people's box of real estate of get your license, start cold calling, start doing this, buy leads, do all this. I just kind of started my own path. Didn't really have a ton of direction handed to me either. Um, After 1 year of being licensed, I ranked number seven in Rutherford County in the top 100 in the state of Tennessee for my social media presence. That was Property Spark. I went from literally nobody and not really ever selling any houses to posting so much about real estate. Not even necessarily that I was selling stuff. I was just posting a lot to stay relevant. That Property Spark followed me, ranked me, and all of a sudden I was starting to get some recognition for all the posting I was doing. I started growing Facebook groups, and this wasn't in a year, but over the last several years, I've organically grown multiple Facebook groups, got over 1.3 million members. Between all of my groups, I do have a homes for sale group in 48 states. So I use that for a handful of different things, but I do a lot of lead generation with Facebook groups. I've got probably, I don't know, I'm going to throw out a number of like 25 different groups in Tennessee alone, because I have yard sale groups and I have different groups, and I have the banners as constant advertising for me as a real estate agent, and then different things that are automatically posted through there. And then I use it for lead generation as well. Um, my closed transactions and volume have increased every single year. So I went from 21 my first year to 45 my second year, 69 my third year, 70 something my fourth, to 94, sorry, 92. And then last year was 89, but I did 4 more million in volume than the year before. So while my actual transaction count went down last year, I did 4 more million in volume, which we all know as a real estate agent. Really, you're wanting your volume to go up. Your transaction count can go down over time if your volume keeps going up. That's really your long-term goal. So every year I've done better and better. And I still don't do cold calls. I still don't buy or spend money on ads and crazy stuff. The literal only thing that I spend money on ads for, just so you guys know, and you can follow this if you want to, the only ads I spend, I'll throw 50 to 75 bucks a pop. Sometimes it's 30 or 40 bucks at Facebook Marketplace ads, boosting my listings on there. Every now and then I throw just a little bit of money at that. And that's the majority of the actual ad spend that I do. Um, so this course is called Connecting with Strangers, and really it's just trying to figure out like what are your all's goals to connect with strangers. So it's not just talking to people. For me, when you start looking at connections, it's to associate, to unite, to join, to build a real relationship with other people. And it's kind of crazy. So to give you like a quick tidbit of my personality and how it's somewhat contagious, I guess. On Monday, I went and saw a new chiropractor. Mind you, I've never been there before, right? First time. Walk in the door, go get x-rays, whatever else, meet with the doctor, do all the stuff. I'm talking, I've met 3 or 4 different staff members throughout the whole stage, talking to them, joking around, whatever else. And I'm like, hey guys, my wife has some things going on as well. Would love to get her in here. She literally goes in yesterday. And the people, like everybody at the chiropractic office, is like, we just love your husband. He is so great. Like they wouldn't stop talking about me. And my wife is like, I have no idea how you make friends so fast. Like, I don't understand. Like, it makes zero sense. Can you please tell me how you can just like walk into a room of 5 people you don't know and all of them instantly love you? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I made a few jokes. We talked. We got to know each other a little bit. We asked questions. I asked questions because they're, interviewing me back and forth. But rather than like the intake questions of, where are you from? Blah, blah, blah. I'm also asking them. I'm like, well, where are you from? Oh, and they moved here from California. They moved here from here. They moved here from here. And instead of it being like that typical patient interaction conversation, I made it about getting to know them, right? I want to get to know the other person on the side of things. So I consider connecting very similar to dating. You start asking some different questions, you're getting to know people. And then as far as like that real true association and really like partnering or joining somebody, I think that you've shown no value until a referral or some type of support is given. So even as far as like me and the doctor, me and the chiropractor, literally like we're already talking about different ways we can work together on certain things. And I've met the guy twice now because I went back with my wife yesterday. But we're already talking about like, all right, like how can we work on different things together? And I just look for an opportunity. I'm like, hey, well, there's probably a way to work together. What's that look like? And I've immediately given him a referral, which was my wife, right? Like it's that simple, guys. It's not like rocket science putting some of this stuff together. Um, and that referral is something I've got to pay for the family plan now if we're going to decide on the chiropractic thing. But it is what it is. If it improves our lifestyle, more than likely, with some of the connections that I make at the office, I can probably easily pay for all of our chiropractic care, right? Like that's how my brain works. I'm like, well, if I'm going to go in here and make some connections, meet some different people, more than likely, I'll make a connection that'll pay for all of this stuff anyways. Um, as we age, connecting becomes more difficult. Would everybody raise your hand if you think connecting with new people has gotten more difficult than when you were little? Right? Raise your hand. Right. So let's talk about why it gets more difficult. So our lives are increasingly more complex. We start dating people, we get married, we have kids, we have work, we have all this stuff going on, we have church, we have all these things that we are continually increasing responsibility for that oftentimes add to our stress level, right? If we're married, sometimes, oftentimes, it gets harder to like you kind of get pigeonholed, and probably a lot of you can agree with this. If you're a female and you're married to a man, it's probably a little bit harder for you to have male relationships that are friends, right? Just over time, like it gets more difficult to have more friends with more people because you have certain people that you're devoting your life to, and some people can be a little bit more jealous about certain things or not. For me, I don't really have, I've never been one to have jealousy issues or really think about it or whatever else. I'm like, I try to be friends with everybody, but it doesn't always work for every relationship, and that's okay. We just have to understand, like, all right, as we think about that, we have to put ourselves in a situation where we can still connect with new people on certain aspects and really make sure we're driving the right direction. Um, the reason I've got gone are the early days. How many of us remember the light up shoes, right? I remember my light up shoes when I was a kid. And whenever you put those light up shoes on, you wanted to go into school and like you're just hoping and praying that one of the other kids says, "Hey, do those shoes make you run fast?" That way you can like show off running your light up shoes, and all of a sudden you're best friends and he's got light up shoes and you got light up shoes and you're running around with your light up shoes. Like life is not that simple anymore, but it used to be. We all remember those days where it used to be that easy. You used to be able to walk up to somebody on the playground and literally 2 seconds later your friends are running around. My daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, and she's been doing this since she was 2, wants to go to the playground or the beach or wherever we go. Her very first question is, "Can I go make a friend? Can I go make a friend? I want to go make a friend." That's my friend right there. Like she's decided that she's friends with somebody that she sees that's 40 feet away and has never talked to. She's like, "That's my friend right there. I'm gonna go talk to her." And before you know it, we'll be on the beach, and she's like with this other family that's a couple tents down, and she's sitting there sharing Cheetos with them. Like she has no fear. We need to get back to a stage where we have a little bit less fear to engage with people, to start to break down some of those borders that are naturally set with us over time, because humans still crave interactions. It's not always evident, but a lot of us tend to recluse more over time when a lot of people really still need those interactions. So as you start to think about people and your neighbors and everybody else, people are often friendly. When you check the mail and you're in a neighborhood and you see your neighbor, you probably wave. It's probably like a brief interaction as we start to think about like, man, like, do I really not like talk to them, get to know them on a little bit deeper level than waving, hey neighbor, grabbing my mail and then shuffling back in to get back to work or do whatever I'm doing. Probably. So we have anywhere between 2 and 8 close friends on average. And I would say most of you probably are falling within that range. Some of you might not be, some of you might have more. Not saying that it doesn't happen, but most people have between 2 and 8 close friends that they see on a somewhat regular basis that have a general idea on what's going on with their life outside of surface level. Most of you falling in that 2 to 8 range? See a raise of hands? 2 to 8? Yes? Yeah. So that's really most of us. So I've always focused on trying to make sure that I'm controlling my environment and situations and putting myself in different groups and in different spaces and trying to navigate it and get outside of my comfort realm. Um, so the interactions that people have with their neighbors usually happen weekly or daily. Like I said, it's a brief greeting. 1 in 4 has managed to become friends with two of their neighbors. So if you live in a neighborhood, you probably got a neighbor on each side and maybe a neighbor across the street, couple. You kind of become friends with a couple people, but there's often times that you probably don't get to know anybody. I know one of my neighbors, it took, and I'm super friendly and talkative. They lived by us for like 6 months before I ever got to talk to them. Literally, it was an Easter weekend. We were doing a Easter egg hunt for the kids in the cul-de-sac of the house I lived in, and for the first time, I see them outside because they very much kind of kept to themselves. They would park in the garage. The garage door would go up. They would pull the car in. Garage door would go down, and you would never ever see them. Like literally never see them. Um, Fast forward, we talked on Easter, right? One time, and now all of a sudden we're like best buds. It went from never seeing the guy for like 6 months to best buds, very close friends now, even to this day, still very close friends, even though we've moved. Um, Kind of crazy when you think about that because looking at their actions, right, you would think that they would want to recluse. You would think they don't want to be friends because of their actions with what they're dealing with. When really, they're looking for deeper connections with people and they have to have somewhere to start, right? So we have to figure out how do we, as real estate agents, as people, start relationships with other people. Um, a lot of questions that I oftentimes hear from other agents and other people, even other business owners, even if you're not an agent and you're watching this and you're like, hey, like I'm trying to build any kind of business whatsoever. Um, they're new. They're new to the town. They're new to real estate. They don't have any closed deals. They're kind of starting over. They've been in this industry for eons and they just got let go and they're trying to start their entire life and career over and they just don't really know what they're doing. I get people that tell me that they're kind of introverted and quirky, right? And that's okay. You know what happens whenever you're introverted and quirky? You're probably that person's only introverted and quirky friend, or if you attract other introverted and quirky people, those other introverted and quirky people aren't going to like the other agents that sometimes aren't introverted and quirky. Like you can match. If you're introverted and quirky, try to find the other introverted and quirky people. You'll be their only real estate agent friend. If they're introverted, like they're not going to want to get to know anybody else. It's you got a client for life. You make friends with one introverted person, they're not talking to anybody else. They don't want to. They don't want anybody else knowing their info. And that's okay. Other people tell me they have no hobbies. Like, what do you recommend? So we're going to go over some of that stuff. And then I get told I don't know where to meet people. Doesn't that sound an awful lot like dating? I don't know where to meet people. So now we've got all these dating apps and all the Tinders and the swiping and all the stuff. Don't know where to meet people. If only like, and we've joked about this before. If only we could create an app that was like dating app for agents, but you're not dating. It's just swipe left or right. Like you kind of got your profile there and they can swipe. Yeah, I'm interested in talking to that person about what it might be like to work with them or not. Wouldn't that be an interesting kind of thing there? I think so. Um, so typical starting point, and it's business networking, right? This is your like base level. If you can't master some of this, all the other stuff is going to probably be harder. So the goal of this is to develop relationships with people, companies you may do business with in the future. The reason this is the starting point is because all the other people want the same goals that you want. So you're not having to chase after them as far as getting meetings and that kind of crazy stuff. It's not going to be as difficult to build a relationship or to start talking to them because they also want to talk to other people. And for the most part, in majority of industries, we are kind of we're the beginning, right? Everything kind of flows outward from the agent for the most part. Not saying that other people can't refer us stuff, but most of them look at us as we are the lead generation machine that feeds their businesses. So you always want to make sure that you're having clear conversations about what you need from them because they can do lead generation as well. They don't even always know how. So it's okay to also train your referral partners exactly what to look for, what to listen for, all of those things in order to be able to direct business back to you. It is not 100% clear, just so you guys know. Um, so they're, like I said, looking for the exact same thing as you. I did this early on. If you're uncomfortable or if you're new to the area, find a connector, right? They're very easy to spot, just so you know. You'll see those one or two people, maybe three people that really work the room and seem to know everybody. Most of the time, those people have a connector personality, meaning if you get to know that one connector and you say, hey man, I would love to get to know a few more people. I would love to come to this event with you. Would you mind to make a couple introductions to help me get going? I just moved here. I'm new here. I just got licensed. I'm trying to get to know some different people. Would you mind to make a few introductions while we kind of work the room here at this networking event? Usually they're going to say, yeah, absolutely. I love doing that. They're not going to tell you no, right? Like that'd be weird if they told you no and they're like working the crowd. Obviously, they're good at connecting and good at socializing. So find a connector if you're uncomfortable, right? Group settings should typically try to lead to a one-on-one of some sort. Um, for me, the coffee meetup is not always king. You got to find out what's important to the other person and kind of break the norm. So one of my insurance guys that I actually still send some business to this day, um, rather than hitting me up and trying to go to coffee, he said, hey man, do you want to go catfishing? And I literally mean catfishing. And I said, hell yeah, I do. I said, that sounds way better than coffee. Let's go. So for me, I'm like, dude, like coffee sounds like hell. Like I don't want to get invited to another coffee meeting. I want to go do something fun. If we're going to go do something, let's grab a couple beers. We'll go sit on the bank, build a campfire, and do some catfishing. That sounds great to me. And literally, I didn't know him otherwise. We became friends from that. We built an actual connection. We got to know each other and bonding over something we both enjoyed doing, which was fishing. For some people, that's golf. For some people, that could be any hobby that you can think of, especially something that's, that's somewhat social. I mean, you guys could go make, women could go make candles together or go do a painting with a twist thing or whatever. You find out what their hobbies are and say, hey, let's go do this. I've been looking for somebody to go do this with, right? It's not that difficult to find things, especially in some more, bigger towns like Nashville and different places. There's all kinds of things to do that don't involve just sitting at coffee, sitting there talking and paying $9 for a cup of whatever you want to call it, bean water. Um, so you want to be specific about your goals. This is being specific both in a group setting. So how many of us have been to a networking group of some sort, right? Give me a hand raise if you've ever been to a networking group, whether that be online, in person, anything like that. Now, next, how many times have you heard a real estate agent say, I'm looking for anybody looking to buy or sell, right? Anybody looking to buy or sell? Have you guys heard that? If you haven't heard that, you've not been to enough networking groups, right? Because there'll be 10 agents there and everybody, I'm looking for anybody who wants to buy or sell. I'm looking for anybody who wants to buy or sell. And I've heard it over and over and over again. So when I say get specific about your goals and ask, you have to niche down a little bit in order to stay relevant. I have a buyer looking in the Blackman community for a house. He needs 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, under $500,000, and really likes this particular neighborhood in the Blackman community. If you happen to know anybody at all that is looking to sell or move in that area, please let me know. Right? You see how specific and niche down I got about that particular need? So as you start to think about that, whenever I say, "Hey, I'm looking for anybody to buy or sell," what's that mean? I'm looking for you to give me business. I'm looking to make it about me. When you say, "I've got a buyer looking for blank, 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 blank," now you're making it about your buyer and serving somebody else's needs, right? It's no longer, "Hey, I need money." It's, "My buyer needs a house," right? You see the difference in the mentality of what we sound like and look like to other people when it's just, "Hey, give me business," or, "Hey, I'm serving other people," right? We have to make our ask and our goals specific about serving other people, right? Literally, this entire business is not about us and our need for money and our need for a paycheck and our timeline. It's about other people. Just like connecting and the referrals and things that you can send them, usually you're going to get a lot more business if you can send referrals to other people, and then those will bounce back over time. So, which business professionals should I connect with? We have lenders, insurance agents, title companies, lawyers, financial advisors. Literally, the list just keeps going of all these different ways that you can connect with certain people and figure things out. Why would we think a florist? Well, whenever you're dealing with a florist, what are some of the number one reasons why people buy flowers? A lot of funerals need flowers. No? What happens when people have funerals? A lot of times there's an estate that needs settled, right? Would you like to be the go-to person that settles the estates and the florist gets to know you and you're getting recommended by the florist, right? Like it's that simple of finding the people that are already serving the clients that you need, getting to know them, becoming friends with them, becoming a referral partner, making sure that every time somebody needs flowers or whatever else, you're tagging them on a social media group, making sure that you're helping them blow up and doing the very specific ask. You don't tell the florist, "Hey, anybody looking to sell, let me know." You say, "Hey, florist, I actually specialize in settling estates for people. I know that you're dealing with a lot of, different estates right now, and there's different things that's coming on. I would love to be your go-to person for anybody that's had somebody pass away. They're looking to settle their estate. That's one of my top skill sets. About a third of my business is actually settling estates, something I'm really passionate about. Would like to be your go-to." You see how specific that is? You can literally do this for all kinds of different things here. You just have to think about it, and then you got to hone in, and you got to find that person that you can become their best friend. So for me, I told you guys that I've been really big in Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups are one of the easiest ways to build your business with little to no money, mostly no money out of pocket. It does take a little bit of work. It does take, getting to know some people. Um, Different groups that you can target are going to be regionally specific. You could go hip Nashville, hip Murfreesboro, hip whatever. A lot of towns will have their own hip thing or what's happening in blank city. For me, I got involved in the 20s and 30s meetup group. Um, I'm 37 now, and luckily, the 20s and 30s meetup group is changing from like late 20s to early 40s. Those same people that I was friends with in the 20s and 30s meetup group are also getting older, and luckily, the admins increasing that age range a little bit because I'm starting to get towards the top end of it. But you can look for book clubs, you can look for car meetups, fitness and yoga groups, and then bourbon, beer, and wine. Statistically, and this is not saying go be an alcoholic, but statistically, in any field, almost any professional field, those that socially drink make more money. Those that socially drink make more money, meaning those that go out with friends, have a drink, and are hanging out and socializing and networking, right, tend to make more money than those that don't, statistically. This does not say go be an alcoholic. This does not say go drink at home by yourself, right? I'm encouraging you to get out and socialize. So just want to make sure that's clear. My alcoholics in the room that want to, chug a bottle of wine at home and go pass out, it's not what I'm talking about. So know that. Um, for me, super profitable neighborhood Facebook page. So this was the actual neighborhood I lived in. I lived in the Cloister. I got in there. I helped manage the group, right? I did not sign up to be on the HOA board, right? You know why I didn't sign up to be on the HOA board? Because I was smart. There was already an agent on the HOA board. You know what happened to his business whenever he got on the HOA board? All the people that used to wave and be friendly used to tuck and run whenever they saw him coming at that point because he's on the HOA board. Nobody likes the HOA board. So you can be on the Facebook group. Don't be on the HOA board. You want to be everybody's friend, not everybody's enemy. You don't want to be the rule enforcer, right? For me, I was always giving and helping people. You always want to buy the, if somebody posts about the car wash or buying the kids' coupon book or whatever it is that they're selling, I bought it all. Whether I needed a coupon book or needed a car wash, usually I never went to the car wash, honestly. I'd buy the $5 or $10 car wash ticket, never did anything. Always bought it all, right? Whatever they were buying, here's 5, 10, 20 bucks. Didn't care. I loaned out a lot of tools, ladders, my lawnmower, cooking items when people requested it. You know how it is. They get on there, hey, does anybody have a cup of sugar? Does anybody have this? Whatever. We went to the store, we forgot this. Whatever somebody needed, I was always first to raise my hand and say, boom, you can have whatever it is. I had somebody borrow my lawnmower for probably a year. Like, I didn't care. I wasn't mowing my yard anyways. I was paying somebody else to mow because I didn't want to. So my lawnmower was getting used instead of just sitting there. Didn't care. Um, with that, every interaction creates a new relationship. I would always individually add those people on Facebook. So anybody that I loaned something to, I would talk to them a little bit on the front end. I would talk to them on the back end when they brought it back. I would make sure I add them as a friend on Facebook. What happens when they become friends with me on Facebook? If any of you guys follow me on Facebook, you know that every single day they're getting hit with real estate stuff over and over and over again, right? So I've helped them, I've given them what they need, and now they get blasted forever with real estate stuff until they either unfollow me, unfriend me, or whatever else. Most of the time, if you look at my page, you would think I'm really getting on people's nerves because of how much I post and how consistent I am. But let's be real about that. Then think, all right, whenever you look at your post, how many people actually see it and how many friends do you have? So if 200 people see your post and you have 5,000 friends, we know that we're probably not getting on enough people's nerves yet, right? Like we're not. If 200 people saw it and you got 5,000 friends, like it is what it is. And we're gonna hope they see the next post the next day. Maybe somebody else sees it instead of those same 200 that saw my post today. Hopefully 200 different people see my post tomorrow. They're not all gonna see it because Facebook algorithms aren't gonna show it to everybody. Um, and you guys are all welcome to copy my daily content. I don't care. A lot of it I make it really easy to copy. Um, but try to become friends with as many people as possible. Um, for me, you want to host a weekly or bi-monthly event. So 1 to 2 times a month at minimum, or I prefer weekly, right? The reason I prefer weekly is because it's super, super consistent. Um, I like showing consistency in my business. That's why I post and follow the routine schedule that I have for the last 3.5 years. It's done like clockwork. Literally been on the same trend for like 3.5 years. I post Monday through Friday, same content, different thing, but same type of content every single day. The weekly or bi-monthly event shows your clientele and shows your friends and your family that you can stay consistent with something. Because let's be real, how many of us have struggled with consistency in our business, right? We've all struggled with consistency. the things that we struggle with being consistent with whenever we like get really heavy and we're gonna go do some Facebook live videos and we're gonna go see all this new construction stuff and then we do that for a week and then next week we're sick and then the next week is this and the next week is this. They see us. They know when we're consistently working and when we're not consistently working. They see us whenever we're consistently hosting an event and and showing up that we can do something over time and repeat it over and over and over again. Our friends and family see that consistency. So whenever you can do something that you enjoy and you can keep it very consistent, it translates to how they think the experience is going to be whenever you start working with them as an agent. People like consistency and they think it transitions over between things. So I've got guys that I played poker with and I've hosted a game for 10 years now. Do you think those guys think I'm consistent? I've hosted a weekly game for 10 years, right? I don't have to tell them I'm consistent. They know. Like it's very easy to see. I just show it to them and I just keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I've got 7 years of hosting weekly on there. This is an old slideshow. We're literally going on 9, 10 years now. So your friends will invite their friends. Multiple strong relationships have been built for me over time. I've gotten to know more and more people. Even just this morning, one of the newer guys that's been playing poker at my house for probably the last 6 months, tagged me in a Facebook group of somebody looking for a real estate agent. Tagged me in a Murfreesboro group. He's been playing in my house for like 6 months. You don't see all of these things that can stem off of hosting something regularly. And the more people you get to know, you don't see it all until you've been doing it a while. And then you're like, oh, snap. Like somebody I have seen probably, I don't know, 8 times over the last 6 months is now tagging me in a real estate thing. Right? Like but it happens. You get to know some people, and then all of a sudden they're helping you build your business as well. In 2022, one of my better years from just hosting poker, between the poker guys and their referrals, I made over 100K in 2022 alone, just from hosting poker night. This is not from playing 25-cent poker. I promise you that. I'm like decent at poker. I'm not that good. To when we're buying in for 20 to 40 bucks for fun. Um, and then I also will host and plan a poker guys trip. Usually we go about once a year. We'll get a cabin, we'll go down to the beach, we'll go do something. We've done deep sea fishing trips and like all kinds of stuff where, 6 or 8 of us will go together and we all go down and hang out and have fun. And I'm always the organizer on that. If I don't organize it, it doesn't happen. Even though all the guys have known each other the same amount of time I have. Um, just to give you guys an actual uh, picture of what I posted. Um, January 13th, 2018. You guys can do the math on that of how long I've been doing this. Looking for neighborhood guys to add to our Wednesday night poker game, occasional weekend games. It's at my house, low stakes. We always have food on Wednesdays. Bring your own beer. Get to know some of your neighbors. Been playing for over a year now. We nearly always have a table of 6 to 8 guys on Wednesdays, but can always use extra players. Um, October 23rd, 2016. Any guys in the neighborhood play poker. I have a few friends like to play, but not always enough for a full table. Yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to read the rest of these to you, but you guys can see the comments. You guys can see that people are engaging in them a little bit. Usually, each time I would post, I would pick up maybe one extra player, right? But one extra player in the neighborhood I already live in that I can get to know somebody else has a compound effect. I don't have to get to know 1,000 people, but if I can get to know 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 guys really good in the neighborhood I already live in, things will compound over time. Um, Here's some pictures of fishing trips that we've gone on. So there's me in a big old, trying to remember what that was. I think that was a mahi. Um, Social sports. This is the other thing that's been really, really good to me. Robert did a breakdown on how much I make on average per year and per hour of me playing kickball. And it came out to be like $1,200 an hour that I make for playing kickball. Just so you guys know, it was like insane for what it averaged out to be. So you want to pick a social sport, kickball, softball, volleyball, dodgeball, soccer, doesn't matter. It needs to be something social, right? You want to either start or join a team. If you don't know of a team, you can look on the local Facebook groups. Once again, going back, I played with some friends for a while. Those friends quit playing, and then I joined the team with the 20s and 30s meetup group with a bunch of people I didn't know. If you want to increase your network, go join a team where you don't know anybody. Go join as a free agent. No friends to play? That's okay. You don't need your friends playing. You need new friends, right? This is about connecting with strangers, connecting with new people. So the key to success, though, is the post game. So if you just go show up to the game, you don't really talk to anybody, you play the sport and you go home, you kind of left money on the table, left a lot of money on the table. So post game, you want to go to the league bar, you go hang out with everybody, you play 20 questions, you be interested, and you ask genuine questions to get to know your teammates. I never introduce myself as I'm Chris Rains. I'm a realtor or Joe the realtor or whatever. Sounds like a sales pitch. I always ask enough questions to get them to do what? Anybody guess what happens when you ask enough questions? You can unmute yourself if you know the answer on this one.
They ask questions about you.
They ask questions about you. That's exactly it. Our entire goal whenever we ask questions to other people is to get them engaged enough to ask questions about us. 90% of people are going to do that. You got to probably higher. I'm making up statistics on the spot here. But um, regardless, you got about 90, 95, 98% of people are going to start asking you more questions if you start asking them questions. The other 2% either don't give a crap or they're mentally insane. They don't understand how to have conversations. That's okay. Not everybody's going to do that. But for the most part, you ask somebody what they do for a living. Oh, you got any kids? You married? Blah, 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 blah. Like they're going to start asking you some questions. That gives you a chance to open up. And then before you know it, they've asked you a question about your work. You let them know what you do. Then they ask you how the market is. Then they ask you this. Then they ask you that. And then they say, you know what? We've been thinking about moving or something. Is this a good time to move? Right? Like it's not hard. You just have to ask enough questions to get there and put yourself in the opportunity in the right room to get there. Here's a couple different kickball pictures. As you can see, there's a few of the different teams I've been on. I've changed colors. I can't tell you how many times. And I actually just joined a new team. So my old team's still playing. And I also sponsor the t-shirts, so I'm always on the back of the t-shirts now with my real estate info. But I just joined a different team. You know why I joined a different team? Because I got to know everybody on the team. I've been playing with them for like 3 years now. I was ready to go put myself in a different realm. I enjoy playing kickball, but I also know that I'm there to get to know new people, right? I looked at my business and looked at how to come to Jesus meeting with myself. And I'm like, you know why I started doing this? Was to make more friends and get to know new people. I know everybody on the team now. I need to put myself in a new uncomfortable spot. And I'm going to go ahead and join another team. I knew the captain. It's the only person I knew on that team, right? So I went over, joined that team. My old team gives me a hard time, so that's there. They'll get over it eventually. But that's the reality. So I'm going to give you an example of what one of my clients from kickball looked like. I've had a lot, but this particular text, I didn't have his number. That's why he had to tell me who he was. I've talked to him one time at League Bar after the game, just a little bit. We talked about what each other did, and we had played a couple games, so I hadn't known him very long. He said, "Hey, this is David from Sand and Stuff Kickball. We're thinking about selling our house." I said, "Sweet deal. I really appreciate you reaching out. How can I help?" He said, "Well, congrats on the baby, first of all. This was whenever I was having my first kid, so this was 4 years ago. Secondly, gonna need an agent and some advice. This is where it gets interesting and whether or not I know if he's going to be a good client and he's going to respect me and my time and my family time." I said, "Thanks, brother. We took pics at the beach this week. That was about the kid, so it should be able to formally announce that soon. Still in Florida until Sunday, actually, at a dueling piano bar at the moment. Can I touch base tomorrow morning and what's the address?" So I let him know, hey, you are important to me, but I am on vacation. I'm at a dueling piano bar. I'm still answering. I'm letting him know, hey, look, I am available if I really need to do this right now, but I'm also letting you know, like, hey, like I'm on vacation. Can we, chat again tomorrow? When he said, enjoy your downtime, we can talk when you get back. What's that mean to me? That means he's going to respect me, my time, my family, and I know he's going to be easy to work with, right? Not every person's going to do that. There's plenty of people that'll try to take up the next morning on vacation time. I know that he's going to be easy. And you know what happened? I went out, I met with him and his wife. I had a listing appointment with them. The very next day, they were military. Very next day, after I met with them, told them what to do, they already had all of their stuff boxed up in the garage that I told them to work on boxing up. Next day, boom, I had it done. I was like, guys, can I hire you to like do this for all of my clients? Because it was perfect. I mean, it was organized. Like I don't understand how they did it so fast, but it was like, boom, next day, we're done. We're ready. Got it under contract, sold it, referred them out to an agent in Indiana who ended up helping them purchase. I got a referral fee off of that. And I sold a bunch of other homes. I've got a client under contract right now from Kickball. Still, to this day, I've got one under contract at, I think we're under contract at 479, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm going to be selling their townhouse that I sold them a couple years ago. So, and I sold a townhouse for them to be able to buy that other townhouse in a better area at the time. So, like, it's just a repeat of clientele over and over again. Another place that I love to meet people is the dog park. Why do I love to meet people at the dog park? Well, I like dogs. That's an easy opener for a lot of people. If you, I can go down there, you pet their dog. Oh, what's your dog's name? Right? Before you, that's like the easiest opener ever. You pet on their dog. Oh, what's your dog's name? What breed is this? You start asking some questions. Oh, have you lived around here often? Boom, 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 boom. You've asked questions. Once again, what happens when you ask questions? They start asking questions. Then it becomes an open-ended avenue there. Why are people at the dog park? They either really love dogs and love letting their dog socialize, or they live in an apartment, so they need a space for their dog to go run and play and get out. What's that mean if they live in an apartment or a townhouse and they have no fence for their dog to run? It means they probably want out at some point because Fido needs a fenced in yard to run because they don't enjoy every time that dog needs to go potty, having to walk outside in the rain, having to do all this. Like any dog owner knows that it sucks when you don't have a fenced in yard to be able to let your dog out back to just go pee real quick and run back in whenever it's cold, whenever it's snowing. Like in Tennessee, we get all the weather. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too this, it's too that. Like there's plenty of reasons to not want to go outside. So you can add them as a friend on Facebook. You can give them your card. Why do we want to add them as a friend on Facebook? Once again, going back to it, I need them to get hit every day with all of the content like clockwork that I'm seeing. I meet people where they are. I could try to throw them on an email list, but let's be real. Everybody gets spammed email all the time. Nobody opens up our emails anyways. Even the houses that you have set up for searches that are specific to that person, you've set up a search, they don't open those either, right? We're all struggling with that. So why would we want to put them on an email list whenever we can just put them on social media and that's where they're spending half their time at scrolling anyways? I want to be part of their scroll that on something that they want to open up. You can invite those people back to the dog park when you're going. You can say, hey man, me and my dog are going over to the dog park. You want to go? You want to meet us over there? I know our dogs enjoyed playing. Like, I just want to make sure that there's another dog to help get my other dog's energy out. And then the other thing that I've done is I'll invite them to poker night, invite them to church, invite them to this, invite them to that. When you're constantly known for inviting people to something, even if it doesn't have anything to do with real estate, even if they never show up, they will remember you and they'll feel special in your life that you remembered to invite them to something. Going back, it is hard to make friends. People are lonely and they're looking for that connection and they're looking for that invite. Even if you don't go, doesn't it feel good to be invited to something, even if you don't go yourself? Like, it's nice to know that somebody else wants you there. Um, a lot of people can go to volunteer groups. For those of us that are looking specifically and you have your superpower, I'm going to throw this out there. Women have superpowers that men don't have, right? I can't go to women's groups. I can't connect with moms. I don't have superpowers like that. Like, it's just not my thing, right? I just can't. So women volunteer at a significantly higher rate than men across all age groups. So if you're looking to get around other women, Oftentimes, you can go to volunteer groups and do different things. They're going to have a higher education. A lot of times, they're going to have a higher family income. If the husband's working and making good money and bills aren't a problem, they have more time to volunteer, right? So if you're thinking about trying to elevate and increase your real estate volume, not even necessarily the transaction count, but the volume, the people that are volunteering oftentimes have a higher income as far as their family goes and can afford a nicer house. And they're there trying to take care of and serve other people. Not always, but oftentimes. Running counter to what one might think, married people are actually more likely to volunteer than individuals that have never married or those with another marital status. So, if they're married, what's that usually mean? Usually means they need a bigger house than somebody that's living individually. Once again, increasing that sales volume. If there's two people and they need a house, they're going to need a house bigger than a single person will. Employed persons volunteer at a higher rate than those who are unemployed or not part of the labor force. If we want a client, do we want them to have a job? Yes, they need money. If they don't have any money, we can't sell them a house. They need to be working, which is great. So if you're going around volunteer people, statistically, they're going to have money to buy a house. They have time to volunteer as well. And then a direct correlation has been found with volunteerism rates. Almost 43% of college graduates reported volunteering, and this demographic tended to direct its efforts toward agencies with either hobby sport or cultural and arts focus. So going back, I've talked about hobbies, I've talked about sports, and now volunteering. You guys seeing how all of this stuff is kind of intertangled with each other? The people that can afford to go play sports and are socially doing things, the people that are volunteering, the people that are doing certain things, oftentimes have higher education, have better jobs, and are more likely to refer you, and they're also staying engaged. Um, Sorry, this thing moved on me. All right, so retirement communities and nursing homes also great. You can volunteer to lead activities and games. They love musicians. Many facilities need donated prizes for bingos and all the other games that they play. And then we have an entire full retirement community strategy. And I can get the flyer on that. But this is great. So whenever you go into the retirement communities, going back, and I know I talked about estates earlier, retirement communities and nursing homes are one of the number one places where you're going to know that those people need to settle in a state. Settling in a state doesn't mean that they pass away. Settling in a state oftentimes means we need to sell the house that they came from because they're going into a retirement community or nursing home. And they don't need all of their stuff. They don't need the house. They don't need all these things. They just need what they need. Everything else needs to get sold. So church, also great. We need to be going to church anyways, but if you're going to be there, you might as well connect with the people. You can attend classes in small groups. It's a great way to start getting to know people on a better level rather than just being in and out Sunday morning. You don't really talk to anybody. You don't say hi to anybody on the way in, don't say hi to anybody on the way out. You just get the sermon and dip out. This gives you an opportunity to actually get to know people. You can be a servant leader, volunteer, whether it be children and youth ministries, park and security, chili potluck dinners, join the band choir, whatever it is. All kinds of ways to get involved and get to know more people. Once you add people on Facebook, you want to connect with them regularly. Everybody, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you get my happy birthday video message. So that's a DM'd message. And I will also comment and say, hey, happy birthday. You're getting 2 happy birthdays from me, 2 separate ways, just so you know. You want to share non-real estate related content and show your personality some, and then you also want to comment on their statuses. So when I say that, the power of gifts. So whenever you think about commenting on what somebody else has posted about, they're telling you what they're interested in. Whenever you comment and you engage and you see their stuff, the algorithm's going to let you know that you guys are talking to each other, you guys are staying connected. It's going to be more likely to show them your other stuff whenever you comment as well, and you're not just posting. But it's also going to let the other person know that you're interested in whatever they're talking about. You're interested in them, right? Once it's going back to the be interested, not just interesting. You want to invite them to groups of similar interests when possible. So if you've got a client that's moving there and that they're in their 20s and 30s, you can tell them about the 20s and 30s meetup group in your town. Hey, here's a great place to get to know some new people, right? I know you're new to town. Would love for you to help get you connected. This is one of the places where I know they got some different things going on. Just want to make sure you see this. Same thing with book clubs, bourbon, whiskey, all the things. Um, and then every now and then I'll send people private messages. Anything funny that I see, you all have those couple, your 2 to 8 friends that send you funny memes. We all have those, right? I see some smiles. You've got friends that will send you funny things, right? We all have that. If you can increase that population, that demographic that you're doing that with over time, if you have something that's relatable to that particular person, send more, right? Don't just keep it within your 2 to 8 friends that you always send. If you see something funny, you think they're going to get a kick out of it, send it over. It's not a big deal. Um, here's another example. New to the city. Anyone want to have lunch? Show me around. I don't know this guy from Adam. I got your brother. I'm out of town till Saturday, but can definitely make some time next week for lunch. Only if I buy my own though. I don't want anybody to treat me for lunch, right? I don't need that, but I'm happy to go make a new friend with somebody new in town. Same thing. My wife's son and I recently moved here looking for couples or singles with kids around the 3 to 4 year range. They're telling you what they want to be friends with. They're telling you exactly who they want to meet up with, and they're telling you their struggles, right? Like they're pointing it out. If you're somebody that has a 3 and 4 year old kid, you probably also have some of the same struggles I do as finding that right crowd to hang out with, right? Like if my friends are older and their kids are older, it's harder for me to hang out with them with my 2 and 4 year old around and then not have any kids. It's easier whenever the kids can play and hang out and you can make new friends. So as your life changes and as your kids grow, you got to leverage that connection and look to solve and serve other people's problems as well. Who's from California? I'm from Santa Monica. Been here 5 months. Would love to meet up with some people. If you're from California and you're living in Tennessee, probably a great person to connect with. Why is that a great person to connect with? Because you'll be able to bond over both being from California. This person named Heather probably has a bunch of people that she's friends with from California that are probably moving here as well. Even if she's already here and already bought a house, if you can become friends with that person, now you can also get those leads from Heather as her friends start to move here because more than likely the agent that she worked with isn't staying in contact, isn't becoming an actual friend, probably isn't also from California, and may or may not be licensed after 5 years with a 90% failure rate. Just because somebody else sold somebody a house doesn't mean you can't be the next agent or their referral agent or their friend, right? Doesn't matter if you sold it or not. So, what's holding you guys back from connecting with someone new today? And hopefully, after all of that instruction and value that I just gave, you guys can go hit the ground running and be able to make a whole bunch of money because that's what I hope for all of you.
Really appreciate it. Thank you for all the insight.
Yeah. Anybody have questions? Nothing? I know I'm not that thorough.
Hey
Just,
Chris,
I just go ahead.
hi. I just have one question. Like, and you talk about communities, go and do volunteer thing. Like, how do you search those communities? How do you connect with those community?
To find the places to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
So almost everything will lead you back to a Facebook group. You can find nearly anything you want on a Facebook group. So if I was looking for specific places to volunteer, I would type it in Facebook and I would start looking for different places that are looking for volunteer. Just type in volunteer and volunteer Nashville, volunteer whatever, and start finding different things and try to find something that connects with you. Find something that you're like, I'm passionate about that. That is something that I actually care about. Don't just go do it just to do it. Find something that you want to help with, right? Like it's about actually serving people that you care about. So don't just volunteer for no reason. You want to be passionate.
Okay, thank you.
A few of you guys are asking about the retirement stuff. I will work on getting that, getting a copy of the pamphlet that you guys can have. Dennis is feeling re-energized, lots of insight. It's all you said very doable. That's the key to this. It's nothing of what I said is rocket science. It's just breaking down all the little things that we should be doing in life. And it's so easy to get like blindsided that we're not spending time doing the things that are actually important to build a sustainable business over time and build actual real connections with people. But not, it's all easy. It's just time, a little bit of energy and effort, but it's like pretty simple. See ya, Donna. Anybody else? You guys are making me feel like I was like super thorough. So I appreciate that. It's like a pat on the back that I don't have a ton of questions, I guess. Yeah, you can unmute if you have questions and or want to tell me how good looking I am or, whatever. Anything like that, I'll take it.
Yeah, you're very good looking, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. I was waiting for that. Didn't leave me hanging.
Chris, don't be ashamed of the bald head. Come on, bro.
Okay, I got you.
There
Here
you
you go. There's actually some hair on the side here. It's just like this right here, the kind of bozo look. I really need to buzz it. I've just been really busy, and my personal hair doesn't take a front seat to really much of anything. So especially when I can throw a hat on and not worry about it.
I can send you a guy over at Woods Viking that can shave it down for you and get you that spa treatment.
Oh, spa treatment sounds nice. That is the only thing that I miss about like going to a place to get my hair cut is when you lay in the sink and it's comfortable and they like do that head scalp thing.
Hmm.
That's my jam right there. That stuff feels good. Like I would go in and just like pay like $10 for somebody to do that. Like skip the haircut. Just I can buzz it myself. Just rub my head for a little while. Let me lay back in this sink and throw one of them hot towels over my face. We'll be good. So somebody asked about my Facebook profile and Instagram. It's Chris Rains on Facebook. Uh, there's a picture of me from 7 years ago with my headshot that I'm still using like everybody else does, in a suit. So if you're looking, that's the one. Um, Instagram, I believe, is my realtor buddy Chris. So one thing that I learned a long time ago is that, oh, thank you for sharing that link. One thing I learned a long time ago, whenever I was making my socials, and updating them, whenever I would walk into a bar or whatever, and I would walk up to one of my buddies, and he was with some friends, maybe I got invited out or whatever, and he would say, "Hey guys, this is my realtor buddy Chris." I didn't teach him to do that. All I did was lean into that. I'm like, you know what? Like, why would that not be my handle on social media to where I can teach people to introduce me that way? Right? I'm not introducing myself that way. They're introducing me that way, which is completely different. Right? So I'm the realtor buddy, I'm the friend, right? It's not like super, uppity. It's just kind of relaxed conversational flow that I was able to basically take and make my handle on Instagram and on my business page on Facebook. Any other questions? Cool. Well, I will let you guys go and forth and have a blessed and wonderful day. You guys can DM me, call me, text me anytime if you have questions, need help, if you're running into problems or whatever. If you are trying a particular strategy and you're like, hey, like I'm doing this, but it's not quite clicking yet in my head. Like, what else do I need to do? You guys are welcome to reach out anytime. I'm like very, very good at putting together all of this stuff. My brain has its own very special way that it works, and this is one of my best skill sets. So you guys have a great day, and look forward to seeing you next time.